So Showdown is one of the most fundamental single player modes in Team Affinity and other programs. We see a Showdown in pretty much every single program that exists in the game. Only a few don't get Showdowns. So Showdown is something that you really need to get down in order to make progress in all these programs moving forward with MLB The Show 24. And for some people, especially new players, they're very difficult. Now, for me, obviously, I've been playing this game for 10 years. I'm a World Series player, so I don't really have a challenge with it. But I do have some tips that I use to make it easier for myself, and a lot of people are unaware of. So today, let's get into my showdown tips. So looking at the showdowns, we have Starter Showdown and Team Affinity and Spring Breakout. I'm not going to go into the Spring Breakout one because it's pretty much identical to the Team Affinity one, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, it's pretty much the same as the Team Affinity one. So everything that I say for advice for the Team Affinity one, assume that it's the same for the Spring Breakout. So let's start with the Starter Showdown. In the Starter Showdown, we have mini moments or mini bosses and then the bosses. So in Showdown, you draft a team, and for the Starter Showdown, it's free to enter. So let's do it. So when you are drafting, this is arguably the most important part of your draft is to draft like accordingly for the final boss. Always know who the final boss is and remember. So, if you can remember, can't see it now, but before we started drafting, the final boss is Sandy Alcantara, who's a righty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draft players who are better against righties than lefties. It's the little things like this that you might not really realize, but it helps a lot. So what I like to do when I'm drafting is I like to have my opening draft to be entirely focused on defeating the final boss. So you get a foundation of cards that can defeat the final boss. So my first draft, like the opening draft, I'm going to pick cards that are better against righties than against lefties as my face cam is lagging. Awesome. Anyway, let's continue with this video. So with this round, Bo Bichette is good against, he's pretty balanced. Manny Machado is better versus lefties. Pete Alonso, pretty balanced. I'm going to go with Corbin Carroll. He's better against righties than lefties. Moving forward, we have Jose Altuve, Albies, Rutschman. None of these guys are really good against righties except for Altuve, so I'll take Altuve, unfortunately. But anyway, we have all pitchers here. I'm going to go with Shohei because he's two-way. Always pick a pitcher that is two-way if you can, so that you get an extra hitter. Bullpen, just pick the best one. I mean, the pitching, when you're drafting for pitchers, just pick the best one because you're rarely ever going to be pitching in Showdown. Here, let's go with Brian Reynolds. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go with Byron Buxton. And a lot of these aren't really hard choices, as you've been seeing throughout this draft. Let's go with Ketel Marte. And then we're going to go with who we got here. Let's go with versus righties. Let's go with Willie Adames. And then for the quirks, you're always going to want to go for exit velocity quirks. Exit velocity in the seventh inning doesn't make sense because there is no seventh inning in this mode. Let's go with clear for takeoff. Let's go with rally time. That's the best one because it's always active, like you're always losing. So let's always remember, or not quirks. I always get quirks and perks confused. Let's equip those. Let's build this team. Let's get Luis Matos in there if we can. When does he play outfield? And these guys can, okay, whatever. Anyway, what you're going to want to do is just make your lineup, or start with guys with clutch, and then do everybody else. So whoever has the best clutch on your team, bat him first, because there are going to be scenarios where you have runners on base and you're like starting out a moment. But yeah, besides that, that's good. So when you're going to be doing these moments, I'm not actually going to go in and do it. Like for the blue ones, these, if you fail, you don't have to restart. The red ones, if you fail, you have to restart. So when you have a red one, so like the boss showdowns, what you're going to want to do is just put in your best hitters for whoever you're facing. So if you're facing a lefty, put in all your best hitters versus lefties. If you're facing a righty, put in all your best hitters versus righties. And don't care. You shouldn't care about defensive positioning because you're only hitting. So you could put anyone out of position. As I remembered, let me get Shohei in DH because I have an extra diamond. So let me get, yeah. I'm not actually going to ever use this team. I'm just going to forfeit this after this video because I already did it. But yeah, so in these, just do the stats, and then for the bosses, do what I said. Like if you're facing a lefty, stack your lineup with your best hitters versus lefties, and then vice versa for righties until you get to the final boss, and then you're done. Now moving on to the Team Affinity Showdown, this is different because every single one is a boss showdown, meaning you don't need to care about defensive flexibility. So for this showdown alone, I think every single one of the bosses before the final one is a right-handed pitcher, and then the last one is a lefty, being Billy Wagner, which is pretty annoying. A lot of these cards are just good hitters against both sides, but I tend to just take the guys who are better against lefties most of the time to help you for the final. So let's go with Mitch Haniger. Let's go with Blackman. Let's go with Gary Sanchez. I love this card already. Best hitter overall. Let's go with Jonah Heim. He has good clutch and contact left. Bellinger. Moving forward here, maybe I'll Hoppy. Yeah, let's go McLean because he has the clutch with him too. I'm thinking Evan Carter. Yeah, let's go Evan Carter. And then Quirks, exit velocity. There we go. Or it's not Quirks, it's Perks. Exit velocity. Okay. So let's equip these perks. And like I said before, when you're doing a showdown that is only boss showdowns, nobody cares about defensive flexibility because you're not playing defense. So I could put Jonah Heim in left field if I want. I'll put Jonah Heim at shortstop. It doesn't mean anything because you're not playing defense. So use that when you strategize who you draft too. Don't care about their positions. Just make sure that you get guys who can hit. Like that's really one of the most important things. So let's put him here. And then for this showdown, there are going to be so many moments where you start with runners on base in scoring position. So put the guy with your highest clutch attribute in the leadoff, which it already did, which is Charlie Blackmon with 125, and then just do your best, and then just do everybody else based on who's the best hitter. So lastly, what are some tips of advice for when you're actually playing these? Number one, please be patient, especially when you're facing a reliever. When you're facing a reliever, they don't have enough stamina to go all the way into the end of a game. Like relievers can't go more than 25 pitches. Maybe 30 if they have solid stamina. Take pitches. Please, if you have a problem with chasing, take until you get 2 strikes, literally, until you get 2 strikes. They'll walk you so many times, setting up so many situations. Another thing that I would give advice for is play smart on the base paths. You have an unlimited amount of outs. If you don't feel 100% confident that you're going to score, then just don't send someone. And then the last thing that I have to say is stay away from the double plays. I know it's like kind of boring for me to say that, but those are killer because you only have so many outs. And when you have double plays, when you have multiple people on, it's literally just taking away multiple runs and turning it into multiple outs. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am kind of annoyed that my face cam is laggy. I hope it wasn't laggy in the video that I just recorded before this. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. But most importantly, make sure to subscribe in here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.